with us, and I'm happy to have him back. How are you, Andrew? How is everything?
I'm very good. I'm in Greece at the moment. Thanks for the nice intro. So yeah, I'm the founder of Remote Tribe. We are a digital nomad blog and lifestyle platform with accounts on social media, and we talk about remote working, decentralized lifestyle, visas, and travel and the traveling lifestyle that the amazing nomad life offers. So I'm currently in Greece. I'm in Lefkada, which is a beautiful, I would call it island. It's tied by the continent with a land bridge, so it's not really an island. It's more like a peninsula. Quite big. It's going to take a few hours to go around it by car. It's very touristy, I would say, but it's not one of the main ones. So you still can find some nice places, like where I'm right now in a beautiful remote village.
Wow.
That's super nice. And the internet is pretty decent. I mean, the fiber is not that great. I've got both 5G and fiber, but the 5G is well spread on the island, so you've got signal almost everywhere, even on a boat. I'm going to tell you more about that later. But yeah, I mean, I think the infrastructure in Greece is pretty good when it comes to airports and the 5G. And also the roads are pretty good on the island, so everyone rents a car here or a scooter or a motorbike, and then you can just hop from one place to another.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I still remember our last show. It was from the beach. Which beach
In
was this? Do you
Tenerife,
remember?
I was in Tenerife, so that was in the Canaries.
Tenerife. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I got a lot of people asking about where is this beach? Where this? I didn't mention it. I didn't mention it in the so it was.
Florido
There's a lot
Palm.
of people who was asking. Yes, yes. So it's
Yeah,
like, I mean, your background looks amazing, and I think the weather is a little bit chilly. You have a lot of.
yeah.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
unfortunately, so this September was quite windy. I've been here for
Mm.
almost 3 weeks. The first 2 weeks are okay, but since a week ago there was a big storm, and now we've got like 19 degrees, between 19 and 22. So September can be a bit chilly. I think this is a special September. It's not like that, but it can rain and temperatures go down. I mean, locals are happy. I'm not that happy because I came here for the sun, so there's a small conflict, but
Yeah.
overall, the temperature is great until October. So you can live in Greece between May and October, with the mention that July and August are super hot. And we're going to talk a bit later more about the prices and other details in about life in Greece.
Yeah, that's. I mean, Greece is a getting very. It's getting to a certain degree to be one of the hot destinations, not just in Europe. There is a lot. I mean, things happen in Portugal. There's many uh, problems, especially with the visas, residency, and over tourism in Portugal. So, I mean, I think that Portugal is the other side of Europe is Greece, and it's
Hmm.
it's one of the and it's not just it have many places to stay. It's not just Porto and Lisbon and the other mid-sized cities in Portugal, but Greece is. I mean, each island is could be like a city, so you have plenty of places to stay. Yeah.
There are a few big islands, and just let's start with the beginning. Also, I was in Athens for a few days, and I've heard a lot of Americans there. I don't think many of them were tourists. There were also probably a lot of them on the Golden Visa program. So there is a lot of English speaking people here from the US and the UK, and that's a sign that people are moving to Greece for the quality of life and the decent prices and the Golden Visa. When it comes to living here, so I think the probably the best places to work from or to live in are maybe like Crete, maybe Lefkada where I'm right now, maybe Corfu, and obviously on the continent, so around Thessaloniki and the coast. I don't know about the small islands; they're quite remote to be honest, so I wouldn't be working from there. I don't know how the 5G situation is. It's probably covered, but I wouldn't risk it. So places like Milos and probably Naxos is okay, but other small islands like I don't know, Milos and other ones that are in the center or close to Turkey and Cyprus, they might be a bit too remote. So I'm guessing like foreigners come to live mostly on the continent and some of the bigger names. I mean, Crete is already busy with like Europeans retired there. So I would advise people to check for communities of expats. The small islands are pretty remote, so you might want to look at places like again like Lefkada, Crete, Corfu, and maybe Halkidiki as well.
We should invest together and get Starlink so we can work from anywhere.
Yeah, I think Starlink is now available in
The
the
mini
city.
version.
Yeah, and just to add to that, I was on a boat, so I've done a boat trip somewhere in the Union Sea around Lefkada, and I was able to work a few few hours a day. I would say maybe 2 hours, and check my emails, do some creatives, do some phone calls. We had a 5G hotspot on board, and it was great. Like the connectivity was fantastic, so there was no need for Starlink. We were in between islands, and yeah, the 5G was great. So I had absolutely no problems with video calls and stuff like that. So depending on the area, you might be very well covered or not, depending on the local service.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, always being having connectivity, especially in the boat and a very, you can say, semi-remote areas, that's opened the opportunities to a lot of things you can do. You don't have to worry about doing some stuff on the internet or just being connected. I mean, sometimes it's much better to cut off all the connection and just enjoy the nature. But because we are working all the time, we are remote workers and digital nomads. We have to be connected. So having the idea that you can be connected anywhere, that's give the peace of mind that you can continue your travel or enjoy your further in different places. Yeah.
Yeah, so
So
I think some places in Europe have connectivity even around the shore, like 4G, 5G, and that's great. And if you wanna go even more extreme, you probably can get a Starlink, like a mini Starlink on the boat. And if you're more far away from the shore, then I guess you can roll from there as well. But it is possible if you're close to the islands for sure without Starlink. Yeah.
you mentioned that you met a lot of English speaking people that in Athens when you've been there. I have last week I have a couple of meetings with my Greek lawyers, especially in the Golden Visa, and they tell me that the number one clients now applying for the, it used to be the Chinese from China,
Mhm.
but I mean Chinese and then Russians, and I mean they have an issue with the Russians, but it was Chinese and Indians. Now, number one people apply for the golden visa in Greece is the British citizens, even more than the American citizens. Do you think that because of the uprising or the current of problems that happened in the UK in the last couple of months, and also the change of the government, there will be more British citizens who would like to explore other options, especially in the EU, and Greece will be one of their destinations? What do you think about this?
Yeah, I think it's true. So I think because of the cost of living crisis that have started going on since 3 years ago, I think people in the UK started to look over other options in Europe. Also Brexit, they had no more right to work in the EU. Also the prices went up. So because of all this, they started to look for options. And now probably Greece is one of the best options they have to enter in the EU market with a passport or a residency permit. It's not cheap, as we're going to discuss, but it's still a good option for them. And I think now with the new Labour government, I think all the rumors about the increases in taxes, more people are thinking to move somewhere else in Europe. I mean, in Europe, taxes are not actually lower; they might be higher, but at least it's probably the quality of life is better and it's cheaper to live. So all in all, could be a better deal. And yeah, it seems like the UK is a bit of an unstable place now, so maybe people are looking also for more stability and more options. Like in the EU, you've got 25 plus countries you can work in, vs just one, which is right now it's not in the best shape. I'm in the UK.
Yeah. What do you think about the new UK government? They're trying to reverse Brexit, or they try to reconnect with the European partners, especially in Germany, France. Now, the prime minister used to be in Italy yesterday. So, do you think that anything could happen to Brexit, and there will be more ties between the UK and the EU again?
Yeah, it's hard to believe it's going to get reversed. I don't believe so. It's extremely hard. I mean, they already untied a lot of knots, and now it would be really, really messy to tie them up again. I think it's going to take maybe another 10 years until they join back if they want to. I don't think that's the case. I don't think it's going to happen. In terms of relationships, I think they're always going to want good relationships with the EU, so that's going to happen anyway. But it has to happen in a different way than before. Um, so I think it's going to take a lot of time for the UK to come back and for their economy to be on a good level, because right now it's a bit messy with the imports and the exports. The prices of food and other commodities are way up, and also utilities. So it's not looking good for a while, and I think it's going to take a few good years to come back to a good standard of living. We'll have to see, but it's not looking great.
What about? I mean, the making like a proposal about bringing back the freedom of movement for the young mobility, like up to 35 years old, between the EU and the UK? Do you think that? I mean, I dream to work anywhere in the, because we are both British. I mean, I would like to work anywhere in the EU again. I mean, I have another residency and stuff, but I mean, just using one passport to travel all around Europe, that used to be the case. So, do you
Yeah,
think that this kind of freedom of movement could be bring back, especially for people under 35 years old?
I hope it's going to come back because I think it's great for everyone. I mean, you know, the young people will gain experience, more opportunities, you know, cultural exchange. I think it would be great, but I don't know if it's going to happen. I think, yeah, I think there was a project like that, but I haven't heard anything about it recently. So unless you know something that I don't, I don't think it's happening at the moment. I think it should. I think it's a great idea.
There's a lot of discussion back and forth. I mean, the any changes in the EU, it's not easy. It takes a lot of time. So it's we will hope and see. Yeah. So getting back to the Greece thing, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of options for anyone from outside the EU who would like to reside or move or relocate to Greece. Can you give us your feedback about how many weeks you have been in Greece right now?
So I've been here for about 3 weeks, and I'm gonna stay for a few more days. So unfortunately, my time in Greece is off, but it's been great. So what I can tell you about the cost of living is that it's not really that cheap if you come as a tourist. So if you rent Airbnbs or bookings, you know, especially in high season, expect high prices. So what you wanna do is maybe go through a local agency or friends of friends to rent something for long term because it's gonna cost you definitely more. And also, if you want to eat out every time, it's not like in Thailand where it's like $2 3 for a meal. Here it's most like 20 25 euros for a meal. So if you want to eat twice in a restaurant per day, it's about 50 euros a day. If you multiply that with 30 days, it's about 1,500 euros. So it can be pretty expensive. You know, you can also cook for yourself. Well, depending on your budget, right? You can have different lifestyles, but it can be costly. Like if you want to eat out all the time, it's not cheap because people leave 6 months from tourism here, and then the rest of the year there's literally nothing. So they have to catch up on the expenses during the high season, which is kind of now. I mean, it ended in September and October are more like low season. But again, like I think you know, renting a car, petrol is not that expensive. The food in the markets, fruits, vegetables, pretty decent. But if you wanna go out, a beer is about 4 or 5 euros. The restaurants are again like 20 euros. So I would say if you want to do like a proper work and travel or digital nomad lifestyle, if like short to medium term, you have to be careful at the cost because this is not a cheap place, especially in the islands. Maybe you know around Thessaloniki or around some other places like Monemvasia, somewhere in south on the continent, maybe you can find cheaper deals. But on the islands, because all of them are touristy, you're not gonna find great deals, not at all.
I mean, that's a normal. Like, I mean, it's not like Thailand or Philippines. I mean, the prices will
Sure.
be much more expensive. But comparing to more expensive places like London or Paris or Berlin
Sure. It's
or
definitely cheaper. Definitely cheaper. Yeah. Again, depending on the budget, but you don't want to be overpriced, or you don't want to live in a place um, where it's overpriced. So you want to get the best deal anyway. Yeah.
understand. Okay, that's one of the options. Yeah. So I mean, what kind of I think there's other people who are traveling between. I'm not sure you heard about the news that there's a lot of Turkish citizens now will be able to enter Greece without a visa. Have you heard
I've
about
heard,
this?
I've heard something about that, but maybe you can tell me more because probably you know more about that.
Yeah, it's like it was like an you can say an agreement between the government of Greece and the government of Turkey that allow it's not related to the EU, just allow Turkish citizens to enter a couple of you can say border islands between Turkey and Greece. They will be able to travel visa free for a couple of days. They don't apply for Schengen visa. They don't apply for anything. They just go in the border. They get a stamp. They allow them a couple of days. It's like a very limited. I think it's like a trial for
Okay.
allowing Turkish
Sounds like a
citizens
proof of
to,
concept. Yeah.
yes, something like this, to travel back and forth, because I mean I mean the Turkish citizens, it's a very huge market. They have, I mean, Turkey is very famous destination for people who would like to visit, but also Turkish citizens would like also to explore Europe because of the complexity of the Schengen visa, and many of them get rejected for many reasons. I don't have the freedom of movement in the EU, even for visa-free access. So Greece was doing like a trial, and I think the trial was successful because there's, I mean, the buy properties, the invest there, the open opportunities, and that's one of the things I always discuss as being global expat or global citizen, that when people get together, they forget their past, they forget their problems, and they enjoy themselves as humans. Turkey is an amazing country, but it have a different culture. They, when they go to Greece, it's just a couple of hours by the car, but it's completely different culture. But the people are the same. Once they get together, they will enjoy themselves. They would like to stay in the sun and enjoy the food. So I think if the EU, that's one of my dream, like the UK, if the EU allow the Turkish citizens with a visa-free access to the EU, that will bring a lot of, you can say, a lot of investment and a lot of cooperation between two countries or two, because Turkey is not a small country; it's a huge, with a huge investing power, and that will open the doors for more opportunities and more visa-free access, and that's what we always asking for. So getting back to the visa, what kind of, I mean, Greece have a lot of visa options available for
Right.
non-EU citizens who would like to move there. And I think in the last two episodes we discussed about the changes that coming for the Greece golden visa. It will be increased from 250 to 800. That's a lot of money, an increase because the huge influx. But what do you think about someone if he would like to apply for a digital nomad visa and he would like to stay in Greece for a long time, not just a couple of weeks like yourself, but 6 months, 12 months, or even register themselves as a tax resident in Greece? You think this is a
So
good idea?
yeah, so I think overall, I think it's a good place to live. Again, like I personally don't like Athens so much. I think it's very crowded and it does look unsafe in some areas. But overall, I think the quality of life, because you've got sun, most of the year in Greece, friendly people speak English, even in the countryside here, and the produces are very good, like organic. A lot of nice things you can find. The prices are pretty decent to live. Like it's definitely cheaper than the UK or than south of France or than Denmark or Norway for sure. Um, and I think it would be a good choice to enter Europe. I think after 5 years of residency here, you can get the EU citizenship probably with this golden visa. You can tell us more about that, but I think it's a good entry in the EU. It's a safe country. I mean, honestly, here in the countryside where I'm on the islands, like people leave their keys in the scooter, cars unlocked. It's really safe, especially outside of big cities. There's barely crime. I think on the islands, it's extremely peaceful and very chill.
That, yeah, that's a very good point. I mean, if we're going back to the changes that happened in the Greek Golden Visa, they will have three tiers. They have the tier for Athens or the very hot, you can say, destinations in the city center. That if you would like to get a golden visa or buy property in near the city center in a couple of cities, including Athens, you have to buy the property at least 800 euros, which is the upper threshold. And they have
Yeah.
another threshold with 500, and then the normal threshold with the 250. That could be the remote islands, the not very popular destinations. So we still have the 250 k euros as an investment option to buy the property, but also they coming up with a different, you can say, tax incentives, especially for high net worth individuals who would like to register their tax residency in Greece. The You don't have to pay taxes on all your income. There will be like a certain threshold. You will apply. It is similar to the NHR, Portugal Global Residence Program, that give you a favorite access to stay in the country as a tax resident, and you not be taxed on all your wide income. That's a special agreement, and but unfortunately, if you are an EU citizen, that this is doesn't apply to you. You have to be non-EU citizen, and that's including the British citizen. British citizen are no longer EU citizen. You know about. I mean, we all know about this. So
Yeah.
anyone who outside the EU can register their tax residency in Greece, whatever they have a visa, no, and they can declare taxes that a very with a very special regime. That will open a door for a lot of executives, high net worth individuals who would like to reduce their taxes legally in EU state or EU country, and then use it for their purposes in paying less taxes. That's I think that's why the Greece is it's getting more, you can say, on the topic for other places. Yeah.
And as far as I know, so you can stay on the digital nomad visa for 1 year, and then you can extend it another year. And I think the processing time is quite small, but the minimum income requirement is quite big. It's about 3,500 euros. So I think for someone working for the UK or for the US, I think that's not a problem. However, for someone living in South of Europe or someone who's a non-European from, let's say, Asia or South America, I think this threshold might be big if you look at the salaries from over there and the income over there. So that's something that people should keep in mind when applying for this visa.
What about, because I get this question a lot, but I didn't actually test it on the ground. What about if someone get, for example, another cheaper digital nomad visa or requirements, especially from Croatia or from other, you can say, less requirements? Can they? I mean, I know they will be able to travel in the Schengen area visa free, but they will be able to stay more than the 3 months in a different state in the EU. For example, someone get it from Croatia and they would like to stay in Greece more than 3 months. Have you experienced something like this before?
No, I don't know. This is a really interesting detail of these visas. I don't know how much you can play between. You can interact with other countries whilst you're on nomad visa. I think they all have their own rules. It's kind of a tricky one. So I get your point. Basically, how much can you travel within that year in different countries? I think that's a good point. Maybe there is a niche there that people can exploit where you can get additional migrant visa from one European country and then travel to the other one for a short time or longer time. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that could be a very interesting point for our next episode, where we discuss more about this. How you can, it's not just how to understand the rules and how to play the rules in different countries related to tax, visa, and immigration and relocation. There's a lot of things. It's there's a lot of legal loopholes. Once you understand the process, you'll be able to make it more favorably for your side. Yeah, that's one of the things that I'll always consider. Yeah. Okay, so what kind of other topics we would like to discuss today? Not just in Greece,
So
in any other country also.
yeah, I mean, I was more interested in the golden visa more for Greece because I'm being asked a lot about how much tax do you pay during the golden visa as a non-European. So what do you know about that? So you know a few details about the golden visa maybe.
I mean, the only thing is that most of the individuals, I mean, we have to understand the difference between getting the golden visa and your tax residency. You can apply and get approved for golden visa, but you don't have
Hmm.
to pay taxes in Greece because you buy the property. You have to pay the property tax.
You
That's
pay the property
something
tax. That's
that's,
one tax you
yes,
need. Okay.
that's one thing that you'll not be able to avoid. But
Mhm.
paying your or relocating your domicile from your home country, for example, the UK to Greece, that's something else. If you would like to do this, you have to be ready with tax plan. You have to understand about the responsibilities in different countries, and if it will be beneficial for you to move your tax residency from, for example, the UK to Greece. There's a lot of benefits and incentives, but it's not related to the golden visa. The golden visa is in the immigration program that you apply. You get instant access to the country. You will be treated as the permanent, as the semi-permanent resident. You can enjoy all the benefits of being living in the Schengen zone visa free. But I mean, really quoting your taxes, that's a completely different story. You have to make sure where is your income is coming from. Do you have, what kind of ties do you have with your own home country? Do you still receive an income from different sources, or you will be working remotely as a remote worker or digital nomad? It's it's what it's case by case basis, but mostly it have to be done very carefully. You have to understand about the rules and regulations, and then make a plan. It's not something that you will do instantly. It's needed to be done carefully with the steps. You need to exit step by step your home country if you're planning to do this, and then build on the other side. That's one thing. I mean,
Hmm.
one of the things that always my clients come to me and they ask me, I would like to exit, for example, the UK instantly. I would like to cut ties instantly. That will
Is that
never
is that
happen.
the case? Let's talk about that.
Yes.
So let's take a person who wants to leave the UK and relocate to Greece on a golden visa or digital nomad visa. What do they have to do?
I mean, the first thing is that they have to do tax assessment for all the income or responsibilities they have to come from the UK. I mean, for example, if they have a salary, they pay through uh, pay as you earn or payee. That's they will see their employer. Are their employer allowed to pay them in not an employed contract? They can pay them as a contract or as a consultant, and then it's much better to pay the money not inside the UK but outside. For example, they can establish US LLC or Dubai company, or they establish a lower tax rate company, for example, in Cyprus or Malta or Portugal. I don't advise about opening companies in Greece. It's the Greek law for companies is a little bit complicated.
Yeah,
It's
that's what I
based
heard.
on, I mean, it's not straightforward. The country is amazing. If you would like to invest in the country and do local business, you have to open a company there. But if you are a remote worker or a global expat and you would like to hop between different places or have different bases, it's much better to look for a different country, especially about the regulation for the companies in Greece is not straightforward. They are trying to change it. They might be come up with something new. I know the new government in Greece is doing amazing things. That's one of the things. But right now, it's much better to get the residency, but not open a business there. So
Okay,
if someone open a company in Cyprus, for example, and then he will receive his income that he used to receive in the UK in the Cyprus company, and he will pay the corporate tax income on the side, but he's not living in Cyprus. He will be living in Greece, so he can play by the rules between the income generation in Cyprus and then the residency in Greece.
gotcha, gotcha.
Yes, that's mostly how we do it with a couple of times. You have to be aware, and at the end of the day, you will pay a lot less taxes compared back what you used to pay in the UK, and you still be in the EU. It's not just going back
No, no,
to Dubai or Cayman Island or Mauritius or Hong Kong or far away places, but you will still be very. This is it's not the best tax status. It will not grant you the zero status, but at least it will lower your taxes to at least 50% for what you used to pay.
yeah, that's fair. So, would you suggest against paying, paying a personal income tax in Greece? Uh, Trying to pay the having a residence in a different place and paying the taxes over there whilst you live in Greece, is that even possible?
If you are, I mean, the idea that if you would like to live in Greece more than 6 months, you have to be tax resident, whatever you
Okay,
like it or not.
so
that's
that's the
that's
threshold basically.
that's
Yeah,
that's the rules. Yes, that's a thing. Yeah, yeah. I think
officially,
we can
officially, yeah.
yes, we can. uh, I think we can have another, because we didn't discuss about this initially. We can make like, I mean, in the next episode we can make like, uh, we can write like steps for anyone who would like to follow how to exit your tax country. For example, the UK, Canada, Germany, Ireland, for high tax countries like Australia and New Zealand, and then how to build the tax status in another country. We can make like a guide that could be used with anyone, and we can go through the steps together, have a question back and forth, but we make it like a step by step guide. That would be very efficient, because I've been asked about this semi
It
guide
is
or like
It
a.
is very tricky. Yeah, it depends, of course, how long you live in a country, if you become resident or not, and so on and so forth. So you have to be careful with these details as well. And then obviously, how much tax you'll be paying in your residency country, the base one where you want to pay tax, obviously as low as you want. Um, Kumo, I think that was it. That was it. So I think it was a good. I think it was a good show about the life in Greece and also about the options you have. I think maybe yeah, we should do a show about residency, how you can get how you should pay your taxes in different countries, and when you declare the residence and what the conditions are, because different countries have different rules for
Yes.
becoming a
Yeah.
resident. So that matters a lot in the equation of paying taxes. So I think a lot of people are interested in playing with all these minimum stays or maximum stays, so they have their tax efficient. Yeah,
Definitely, definitely. That could be the topic for another show. Also, we will have more in depth discussion. Once you have more time, just let us know, and we will bring it back to the audience.
absolutely, absolutely. Thanks a lot, Mo. Thanks for the show. I hope it was useful for the people out there, and I'll see you soon. Stay global. So until then,
Yes, it's my pleasure. Thank you, Andrew, and always let's keep in touch. Talk
thanks,
soon.
Mo.
Bye bye.
Likewise.
Bye bye.
Bye.